2022.
To Chest 2022.
Welcome to Chest 2022.
Whether you're a meeting alum, first-time attendee, or new member,
welcome to Nashville, home to country music, the Tennessee Titans, and the Nashville Predators. Enjoy our Southern hospitality.
We're excited to be together, and we hope y'all are too.
What I'm looking forward to the most? Sharing our experiences together.
Learning the latest in chess medicine.
Experiencing Chess Challenge.
Practicing the latest skills.
Counting the total number of hats that Steve Simpson has brought to Chess 2022.
Getting to know new people.
Learning from you.
Being together.
Enjoy the meeting.
It's time for us to have fun together.
It is time for us to have fun together.
We can't wait to meet you.
We can't wait to meet you.
Welcome to Chess 2022.
Please welcome the Chair of the Scientific Program Committee, Dr. Subhani Chandra.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to see you. As program chair for the first in-person meeting in 3 years, I would like to share this stage with those who never got to stand here, but surely deserve it. Please welcome the chairs for Chess 2020 and 2021, Drs. Victor Tast, Christopher Carroll, and David Zielinski. Well, Victor, Chris, Dave, I saw firsthand how hard you all worked to put together amazing meetings in an ever-changing world. Today's successes rest on your shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big round of applause. There you go. Amazing. Well, I can tell you guys like free stuff. Well, then you are in the right place. I'm going to tell you all the secrets. Where to find the cool stuff, the free stuff, giveaways. How many? How much? Well, that depends. Friends, we have put so much love into this meeting, both literally and figuratively. So let's unlock it right now. Here is an insider's guide to making the most of your chess meeting experience. There is so much learning to be had. There are over 500 sessions, more than 1,800 abstracts and posters, simulation, learning theaters, and so much more. How do you figure out where to go? Well, first, download the app. And if you don't know how to download an app, just ask my 7-year-old. You will find every session listed there, and also make sure you tap on More. It has more. And if you're lost among the many choices, here are some tips. Follow a track, such as the trainee track, the educator track, or follow a network for their recommended series of sessions. Or search tags. Tags are key words attached with every session. Go to the literature reviews. And new this year from the Chess Journal, practice changing research sessions, where you can catch up on key new findings in specific areas. And if you loved it or missed it, you can register for on-demand access to session recordings. And our first giveaway of the evening, if you have a blue dot on your program, please stand up and wave your hands. Well, while you check your programs, you have won one free on-demand pass. A CHESS staff member will come find you, or please see a CHESS staff member at the very end of this session. I would like to personally thank the Scientific Program Committee, my vice chair and partner, Dr. Nisa Das, the curriculum groups, committees, and networks, and so many more for leading the creation of a spectacular learning program for the meeting. We also come to CHESS to network, so we've tried to make that easier for you. Go to the network's mixer. That's what it's meant for. Go to the posters and oral presentations. That is where you will run into people with similar interests. Check out the lounges if you're a trainee, faculty, or want to be a donor. Go to the foundation's reception. Join a conversation starter, or speak your voice. Search advocacy on the app and join in. Get more value from your CHESS experience by investing in yourself. If you identify as a woman or are an ally, go to the Women in Pulmonary lunch and Keynote. Learn how to improve patient outcomes with small changes at First 5 Minutes. Indulge your artistic side by painting or enjoy the many live music breaks and wellness zone. CHESS After Hours is new this year. 3 extremely talented and insightful people will share their art, music, and stories in a speakeasy kind of vibe. You need a special code to get in. But if you have an orange dot on your program, see a staff member at the end of this session because you have just secured a ticket to CHESS After Hours. I can't tell. Well, you know who you are, so find a CHESS staff member at the end to claim your gift. No one does education better than CHESS, and no one brings entertainment to the meeting better than CHESS. Put the two together, and there is magic. Do not miss the championship of the national competition, Chess Challenge. Or try an escape room with friends, or play any of the games live or on the hub. Need details? Who, what, when, where, why, how? As my 12-year-old asks about 12 times a day. Look for all of these in the app, but I will also tweet everything out that I shared. Of course, it takes hundreds of people working for years to create a meeting like this. But a special thank you is due to one group that works tirelessly behind the scenes, our CHESS staff. Woo! You are my people. And of course, our CHESS president, Dr. David Shulman. David, this poem reminded me of you. You are a creative genius, and you have taught me not just to embrace my silly side, but to push myself, do more, and give more. Thank you. And of course, I cannot end without a final giveaway. If you have a green dot on your program, Congratulations, because you have won a meet and greet with the band Sister Hazel, who will be our main entertainment at the opening reception following this session. Please find a chess staff member at the end, the very end of this session as we're leaving. I cannot wait to share this meeting with you all. I'll see you at the Wild Horse Saloon.
Please welcome chess past presidents, Dr. Stephanie Levine and Dr. Steve Simpson.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here on stage in front of all of you.
As the presidents for 2020 and 2021, our meetings took place through a computer screen. And there's something incredibly special about being on a stage in a full room of our members who are all buzzing with excitement.
We're so honored to join the Chess 2022 team on stage to help welcome you to the Chess annual meeting.
Though the meeting's well underway, we hope this opening session provides you with a good overview of what to expect from Chess 2022.
Dr. Subhani Chandra and David Shulman and our incredible chess staff have worked hard to make this meeting one to remember.
We encourage you to join in on the conversation on social media and use the Chess 2022 hashtag to share your experience with our members who aren't here in Nashville, but are joining from the live stream.
Now it is time to kick things off, and it is our distinct privilege to introduce this year's chess president.
When I handed over the presidency to Dr. David Shulman, I knew he would bring his enthusiasm and innovative ideas to the forefront, and on that account, he has far exceeded my expectations.
Please join us in welcoming to the stage chess president, Dr. David Shulman.
Now, wait a minute, Stephanie. If he thinks he's getting us off the stage that easy.
Sorry, right? Thanks, Stephanie. Thank you, Steve and Stephanie, for that incredibly generous introduction, as well as for your leadership of chess over the last 2 years. One of the primary benefits of service as chess president is the opportunity to interact with the membership, particularly at this meeting, where you can get to see the joy and appreciation that we all get from the opportunities to spend time with each other. While the majority of the last 3 years have been robbed from most of us, I would very much appreciate you all taking one additional minute to thank Steve and Stephanie one more time for their outstanding leadership of chess during these turbulent times. I also want to thank Dr. Subhani Chandra for her hard work, her creativity, her leadership, as she worked tirelessly with the program committee and the chess staff to put together the outstanding program that began earlier today. Well, I know it's been, oh yeah, sure, let's go for it. Subhani and I talk often. I know that it's been a labor of love for her, but I also know, as a former program chair, it devours untold hours, and I want her to know how much I and the membership here in attendance appreciate her. With that, welcome everyone to Chess 2022. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here in person with everyone in Nashville. Given the recent events in the courts, I know it wasn't the easiest decision for some of you, but I am very glad that you're all here today. Because of everyone here in this room, I'm able to share that this has ended up being our second largest in-person meeting ever. And it looks like you were all chomping at the bit to return to in-person meetings just like me. After 2 years of relative isolation for all of us, the trend towards normalization of day-to-day activities has been a relative breath of fresh air. And this year as president has been an extraordinary experience for me. I've accumulated a ton of experience and a ton of stories, and I look forward to sharing some of them in my upcoming autobiography entitled Wandering Towards Mediocrity. Thank you. There are many in-person activities of which we've missed out over the last few years, including holding a formal convocation ceremony to recognize the new fellows of the college. As most of you know, the awarding of the designation of Chest Fellowship is reserved only for the modest number of members who demonstrate excellence in, dedication to, and leadership of chest medicine. Together, tonight, we would like to honor all of the individuals who obtained their FCCP status between October of 2019 and August of 2022, and who have not yet been able to receive this recognition in person until tonight. Officers of the college, distinguished guests, it's my honor to present to all of you the 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 Fellows of the American College of Chest Physicians. Please join me in a round of applause for them. Congratulations. Good job. Anyone want to do that one more time? Probably not. As most of you know, the FCCP designation recognizes these individuals as leaders in chest in their profession, in their institution, and most importantly, it demonstrates their commitment to their patients. Since our last convocation ceremony in 2019, 353 of our members have been named as new fellows. And of those honorees, we have 85 fellows representing 7 countries and 30 states present with us this evening. In addition to meeting educational and professional requirements, these individuals have shown a steadfast commitment to the practice of chest medicine and to our association. For that, I thank you. New inductees, we at Chest are excited for you to use your new designation in your practice and encourage you to always bear the title proudly. From a fellow FCCP, welcome and congratulations. Just prior to the opening session, I had the pleasure of administering the No Tobacco Pledge and the Patient-Focused Care Pledge to these honorees. In upholding our longstanding tradition, I will now administer the Pledge of Fellowship. New fellows and all current FCCPs in the audience, I ask that you please join me in the pledge. In accepting the fellowship of the American College of Chest Physicians, I dedicate myself to the mission and vision of the college. I accept the responsibility to be a lifelong learner in the disciplines related to chest medicine and others so that I can maintain professional and ethical standards of excellence and provide optimum care for my patients. I will work in harmony with the college as a teacher and advocate, and I will assist and support the college in global efforts to advance patient care, support research, promote diversity to optimize health, and foster health equity. I join my colleagues in the American College of Chest Physicians with pride and enthusiasm. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all of our new fellows of the American College of Chest Physicians. Please have a well-deserved seat, folks. As president, it is also my honor to bestow select individuals with a presidential citation. Most often, these are people without whose time, talent, and dedication the mission of the college will be severely impacted, but also whose efforts do not fit nicely into the paradigm of one of our traditional chest awards. The group of individuals I choose to recognize this year are the men and women behind the scenes at the American College of Chest Physicians, those who make all of the magic happen. Over the last 3 years, these folks have continued the hard work of the college, converting many of our live educational activities to remotely presented sessions, maintaining a robust production schedule for our publications in the context of a massive increase in scientific submissions related to COVID, keeping both domestic and international membership informed and engaged, and continuing to assist with important decisions related to organizational governance and execution. And while these operations have seemed mostly seamless to outside viewers, I can assure you that the effort dedicated to ensuring that the external perspective was seamless was really nothing short of Herculean. For each and every one of the chess team with whom you've had the chance to interact, there are no fewer than a half of a dozen more working behind the scenes. For their extraordinary service to the American College of Chest Physicians, it is my extreme pleasure to award the 2022 Presidential Citation to the outstanding chest staff. Please join me in recognizing them. The women and men who are recognized this year as honor lecture recipients are all outstanding in their own right, and I have the privilege of considering many of them my personal friends. I offer my heartfelt congratulations to each of them, and I encourage each of you to attend their presentations throughout the course of Chest 2022. Absolutely, a round of applause for them, please. Thank you. Finally, I would like to recognize and introduce you to the annual award recipients. These individuals have been nominated by their peers and have been selected for their dedication to chest and the profession of chest medicine.
This year's recipient of the Alfred Sofer Award for Editorial Excellence is Dr. Todd Rice, who currently serves as an associate editor of the journal Chest. Receiving this award is a reflection of the tremendous work of Dr. Rice and of the difference he's helped to make within the organization. Chest has provided Dr. Rice with countless opportunities to advance his career, including serving as faculty, publishing clinical research, and collaborating with other researchers. Everyone Dr. Rice has met and worked with within Chest has been phenomenal. The members of the Chest team, including the employees, the global membership, and the Chest leadership, share the same goal: to improve the care of patients. And to Dr. Rice,
That's awesome, man.
his
Congratulations.
experiences
Enjoy it.
within Chest have certainly helped to advance the care of his patients. Congratulations, Dr. Todd Rice. This year's Early Career Clinician Educator Award is awarded to Dr. Mauricio Dancos. This award recognizes the achievements of a clinician educator who has made significant contributions and is committed to expanding their growth in education, has served as Chest faculty, and has demonstrated commitment to education outside of Chest. It was through the opportunities to work with remarkable colleagues and staff within Chest that Dr. Dancos found a place for his professional identity and growth. Chest inspires Dr. Dancos. It is a place where he feels connected to the community of medical educators and where he is excited to challenge himself as a passionate teacher and as an eager learner. Congratulations, Dr. Mauricio Dancos.
Congratulations, brother. Well done. For you, man, huh? Okay.
Dr. Neil McIntyre is this year's Master Clinician Educator Award recipient. This award recognizes long-term significant contributions to Chest by serving as faculty and holding leadership positions within Chest. Receiving this award signifies dedication to educational outcomes demonstrated through the development and dissemination of educational sessions and activities, publications, and research. For over 40 years, mechanical ventilation has been a passion of Dr. McIntyre's. Through the infrastructure and support staff of Chest, he was integral in developing the mechanical ventilation simulation programs that are still being taught 25 years later. The commitment of Dr. McIntyre and the excellent faculty members involved in these courses have helped to grow Chest simulation programs into the exceptional slate of educational opportunities offered today. Dr. McIntyre also contributes his time as a leader on various committees to being crucial to his success as an educator. Congratulations to
Well
Dr.
deserved, my
Neil
friend.
McIntyre.
Good job. That's awesome. Thanks. We're going straight across. My pleasure. Got it?
Dr. William Auger is the recipient of this year's College Medalist Award. This award honors a fellow of the college for their meritorious service in furthering work in chest medicine. Dr. Auger became a fellow early in his career, and since then, he has served as a mentor and teacher to many. Dr. Auger is a clinician educator and scientist with a special focus on the diagnosis and treatment of chronic thromboembolic pulmonary hypertension. His research has advanced physician understanding of the epidemiology and risk factors of CTEPH. He has spent 35 years of his career in pulmonary and critical care medicine and deeply respects the work Chest has done through the years to uphold their mission and to serve its members. Congratulations, Dr. William Auger. This year's Distinguished Service Award is presented to Dr. Anissa Das. This award is given to a fellow of the college who has made exceptional contributions to Chest through commitments of time, leadership, and service. It is bestowed to honor an individual who has devoted much of themselves to improve the organization. Dr. Dawes began her leadership experience within the CHEST networks and has been able to apply the skills she has learned professionally and personally. Her contributions to the Sleep Medicine Board Review course and Seek publications is the work she values the most. Through CHEST, Dr. Dawes saw the importance of incorporating different cultures and backgrounds into teaching by serving as faculty in CHEST World Congresses. She believes these experiences and what she's learned from CHEST colleagues make her a better physician. Because of CHEST, she has created lifelong friendships with colleagues and staff who she's been fortunate to work with over the years. Congratulations, Dr. Anissa Das. There is no higher honor awarded by CHEST than that of Master Fellow. Of the 6,700 fellows of the American College of Chest Physicians, there are only 40 individuals that have earned the title of Master Fellow. Congratulations to the latest recipient of this prestigious honor, Dr. Gerard Silvestri. Dr. Silvestri devoted his career to lung cancer by making significant advances in clinical care and procedures. As a CHEST past president, Dr. Silvestri made his mark through his work within the Thoracic Oncology Network and through contributions in establishing and updating clinical practice guidelines, which were made possible by the investments of the college. Thanks to the work and the expertise of Dr. Silvestri and his peers, CHEST is now well known and trusted for its lung cancer guidelines. Dr. Silvestri is honored to join the elite group of Master FCCPs, which includes personal role models and peers who have been recipients of this designation. He admires each and every one of the recipients of this prestigious honor. Congratulations, Dr. Gerard Silvestri.
Because the Master FCCP Award is the highest honor that the American College of Chest Physicians can bestow upon one of its members, I'm going to take a brief President's prerogative to thank Gerard for his outstanding work on behalf of CHEST over many decades. I had the pleasure of working with Gerard on the Board of Regents for several years, and while his style of leadership was a little different, perhaps, than those who preceded and followed him, he's been instrumental in my own personal and professional development. In addition to being an internationally recognized researcher and a brilliant educator, he will also give you an honest opinion always, even when you might not want to hear it, and has continued to provide sage counsel to me and many of the other presidents over the years since his own tenure in the presidential office concluded. Gerard, thank you very much for everything, and congratulations again on this well-deserved award. Well done, man. Please join me in offering congratulations to all of this year's recipients. I would now like to take a moment to recognize a group of CHEST educators who've made tremendous contributions over the last year. These individuals have spent countless hours using their collective wisdom and skills in the design and execution of CHEST programs. For this and so much more, they deserve our sincere appreciation. Please help me recognize this year's distinguished CHEST educators. The 2022 DCE recipients represent the top 4% of CHEST faculty. This year, we recognize a total of 187 individuals, of whom 25 are receiving the designation for the first time. We are incredibly grateful for all the faculty who advance CHEST as an international leader in clinical education. Thank you all. Absolutely. I'll now ask that you please lend your attention to the following remarks and message from CHEST Foundation President, Dr. Ian Nathanson.
I'm Dr. Ian Nathanson, your CHEST Foundation President. At last year's meeting, I mentioned that the CHEST Foundation was celebrating its 25th anniversary. Now that we can meet in person, let's look back at why we are celebrating. Allow me to take a moment to share with you some of the stories from the past 25 years that illustrate the commitment your CHEST Foundation makes to crush lung disease and improve the lives of our patients. Our history begins with research and community service grants. Dr. Robert McCaffrey, one of the pioneers of the Chest Foundation, shared one that jumps out right away. The children you see in this picture are attending the VAC camp, and VAC stands for Ventilator Assisted Children's Camp. The VAC camp was established in Miami in 1986 by a pediatric pulmonologist, Dr. Moises Simpson, who received one of the first grants from the Chest Foundation to support his new program. The VAC camp gives children who are ventilator dependent an opportunity to socialize with peers and enjoy activities not readily accessible to those dependent on complex technology. The program includes swimming, which many of the campers experience for the first time, field trips to local attractions, and more, while allowing the caregivers to take a well-deserved break. The grant from the Chest Foundation helped lay the groundwork to keep the VAC camp operational. Dr. Simpson served as director for 31 years until he passed away in 2017. The camp remains open, supported by Nicholas Children's Hospital, and has been renamed the Dr. Moises Simpson VAC Camp. I'm sharing this story with you today because that first award exemplifies what the Chest Foundation sought to do, namely identify meaningful projects and provide a kickstart to young clinicians. In the years following, the Chest Foundation awarded hundreds of grants totaling over $12 million. Your Chest Foundation awarded more than $600,000 to 23 individuals, including 3 new grants in the areas of sleep apnea, pediatrics, and our first Young Investigator grant. Although these Chest Foundation grants will continue to assist individuals whose ideas and desire to make the world a better place, the Chest Foundation is now looking to expand its scope by funding projects developed by Chest and operationalized through creative partnerships with entities outside of Chest. Here are 3 examples of this new approach. Because diagnosing interstitial lung disease early is so important, Chest is partnering with Three Lakes Foundation in a program called Bridging Specialties Timely Diagnosis for ILD Patients. This program will reduce delays in diagnosing interstitial lung disease by bringing together primary care physicians with pulmonologists to develop ways that lead to early identification of disorders such as pulmonary fibrosis. As part of Chest's efforts to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, the Chest Foundation conducted an initiative called the Listening Tour in 5 cities across the U.S. to hear what patients and community leaders in marginalized communities thought of their healthcare. We heard story after story of the difficulties patients face when they need care. During our conversations with patients, 3 major themes emerged. Patients reported issues with access to care, lack of respect from doctors, and a healthcare system that they did not trust. To address some of these issues, Chest is developing a modular web-based program that teaches clinicians how to use empathetic listening in the first few minutes of a patient visit. This program, called the First 5 Minutes, was successfully pilot tested in June in preparation for widespread distribution in 2023 in partnership with Humana. Thank you to our founding supporters who have made this initiative possible. In our third example, Chest is partnering with the American Thoracic Society and the American Lung Association to fund the Harold Amos Medical Faculty Development Program, which will sponsor a scholar in pulmonary and critical care medicine selected from a pool of applicants from historically marginalized backgrounds. I am pleased to announce that Dr. George Alba is our first recipient. Our commitment to reducing disparities in healthcare is unwavering. The Chest Foundation offers diversity travel grants to early career professionals interested in attending the annual meeting. This year, 40 early career clinicians received diversity travel grants to attend Chest 2022 for the opportunity to experience our educational programs and to learn about Chest leadership opportunities. To them, I say welcome and congratulations. We have so much to offer. I cannot stress enough that this work is not possible without the support of our incredible donors who give anywhere from $25 to $25,000. These donations are the lifeblood of the foundation, and I offer my sincerest thank you to all who donated in 2022. As you consider your own personal approach to philanthropy, I would ask that you please consider supporting one of the initiatives I just mentioned. And I remind you that 95 cents of every dollar donated is used to support CHEST initiatives and CHEST Foundation grants to make a major impact on global research and local communities. Everyone who donates at least $250 before the end of the year will be eligible to win 2 first-class air travel tickets and paid attendance to next year's annual meeting of CHEST 2023 to be held in Hawaii. As my term as your CHEST Foundation president comes to a close, I want to thank all the CHEST Foundation leaders from the past 25 years, along with all the supporters and CHEST staff that allowed us to bring these programs to life. Lastly, on behalf of Awards Committee Chair and President-elect Dr. Bob DeMarco, let's extend our congratulations to this year's 23 grant recipients.
Please welcome back to the stage CHEST President, Dr. David Shulman.
I am unspeakably happy. We're just sitting back there watching this, and we're also happy to be here with you as we come together to celebrate our victories, to commiserate a little bit over our losses and challenges, and to just have some fun after 3 years apart. The program committee has put together a hell of a program, the most diverse we've ever had, both in terms of the breadth of content we're covering and in the variety of presenters who'll be delivering it. Much of the credit for the strength of the program really goes to those of you in attendance who submitted proposals, who helped us develop content from those proposals, or who came to share your clinical expertise or your latest research. The opportunity to attend these sessions in person, experiencing the educational content of CHEST as it was intended to be digested, including the hands-on learning, the high-fidelity simulation, the educational gaming, the small group conversations with content experts, is something that's unmatched by other educational offerings in chest medicine. But none of that is the primary reason I'm excited to be back here in person. Over the last few years, we've become accustomed to the phrase people use as a new normal. Take as an example my clinic home base, which includes a ring light, a fancy microphone, 2 computers, and a green screen that's behind the camera. When I was forcibly lateraled into this new control center, I thought it was great that I could practice medicine from home. I kind of envisioned this would be a workable long-term solution. But fast forward to a few months later, after spending hours by myself each day in this technological cockpit without real human interaction, I was getting a little stir-crazy. And for those of you who have dogs at home, you leave them when you go to work, you know how excited they are to have you at home at the end of the day? They're looking through the window as you pull in, they're scratching at the door. Yeah, that's basically how my wife said I looked when she'd get home every day. And quite frankly, I've grown tired of it. I was not feeling like myself anymore. I remembered the person I had been, and I wanted to be that person again. I've talked to many of you, and I believe that these feelings of loneliness, of inadequacy, of helplessness, of isolation, these are things that many of us have been feeling on and off over the last several years. The opportunity for us to discuss these struggles has been too long in coming, and I think we would all agree that the most meaningful conversations happen in person, not over the phone, not on email, and sure as heck not on Zoom. Conversations with friends like these are among the best chest-related experiences that I have had over the last decade. And they have all occurred in the context of an annual meeting just like the one you're all at with me today. I am desperately hoping that you will all use this time to relax, to reconnect, to rekindle your enthusiasm for the critically important work that we all do. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about my own personal experience over the last 3 years, you can read more about it in my upcoming autobiography entitled Enough to be Dangerous but Not Enough to be Helpful. Over the last year, as part of my goal to lower the barriers for members to understand and engage in leadership opportunities at CHEST, I've had the pleasure of speaking with a number of our leadership covering a wide range of topics. Most of these sessions have already been published and can be found on the CHEST YouTube channel. During these discussions, something that regularly came up with folks like Dr. Lisa Moores, Dr. Amy Morris, Dr. Gabe Boslett, among others, was the importance of raising your hand, standing up, standing out, volunteering to do a job, and then doing it well. Many of you already do this, and for that I am really incredibly appreciative. But another commonality that occurred in many of these conversations was a discussion about facing rejection. This room is filled with exceptional clinicians, and with only a finite number of leadership roles available, rejection is a near inevitability, whether at home or here it experiences at CHEST. Each and every one of the individuals you see up on the screen, each and every one of the individuals you have seen up on the stage, the award winners, me, have received multiple letters saying, no, but thank you for applying. And each of them brushed themselves off, nursed a bruised ego for a bit, and applied again. I ask that each of you who are interested in chess leadership but have not yet had the opportunity to serve in the role to which you aspire to continue to participate, to continue to step up, to continue to self-nominate. Chess is and always will be the professional home away from home for all of the clinician experts, all of the clinician educators in pulmonary, critical care, and sleep medicine, both during the meeting and really throughout the entirety of the year. I ask that each of you make an effort to find the place within CHEST that lets you do something that excites you. And while everyone has their own story of their travels through the CHEST experience, it's going to be my extreme pleasure to share more about my own, something you can read about in my upcoming autobiography entitled A Minor Biological Aberration. Turning to the past year, it's been an absolute pleasure to serve as CHEST president. I've had 9 months under my belt. I got a few more. During my tenure, CHEST has continued to grow and to adapt to the needs of our members, our patients, and the complicated healthcare environment. In the medical education space, we've resumed nearly normal operations in our simulation center at CHEST headquarters. From a membership engagement standpoint, we restructured our networks to allow for more leadership opportunities for members and to improve the interactivity between sections with overlapping interests. From a patient care perspective, we launched an initiative that breaks down silos and bridges specialties to shorten the time to diagnose interstitial lung disease, something to which Dr. Ian Nathanson spoke just a few moments ago. Importantly, CHEST has also taken the first several steps on a long journey to improving the diversity of our workforce and our leadership, increasing the opportunities to improve equity and gender, and for traditionally underrepresented groups in medicine, and to build an environment of inclusiveness in our gatherings, which is more important now in the context of the last few years when it became very clear that a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion cannot be passive, but it must be actively pursued with commitments of time, energy, financial support, constant attention. As a component of these commitments, we've partnered with our friends at the American Thoracic Society and the American Lung Association to sponsor a scholarship through the Harold Amos Foundation, encouraging those from historically marginalized groups to pursue fellowship in pulmonary and critical care medicine. And as Dr. Nathanson mentioned, we're also launching the First 5 Minutes initiative, which focuses on starting to break down barriers to equitable care by providing medical providers with a framework to encourage more candid communication between themselves and the individuals for which they provide care. While adequate distribution and uptake of these initiatives will be key to their impact, the included content is powerful, effective, and really has the potential to be a game changer for medical specialties far beyond those represented in this audience and by CHEST membership. These critical initiatives are the beginning of a far too long delayed journey down the path towards equality of access, equality of care, and ideally, eventually, equality of outcomes for all people. Throughout this meeting, you will have opportunities to learn more about these important initiatives, and I encourage you to avail yourselves of them. Additionally, as we crafted this meeting, we devoted a ton of effort to ensuring that our attendees would have the best experience possible. We put together an annual meeting innovations group, and their work led to a number of the new experiences you're going to have here at CHEST 2022. But of course, any brainstorming session that generates new ideas that are worth implementing is also going to have some proposals that, after further consideration, are not deemed worthy of making the cut. They're not going to get pursued. So with that in mind, it's my pleasure to introduce you, to roll back the curtain a little bit on the process that we used, using a short video to provide a look into why some of our ideas ended up on the cutting room floor. Enjoy. As you know, this is our first in-person meeting in 3 years, so we've really got to knock it out of the park. We want to put together a meeting like we've never done before to let our membership experience CHEST in a whole new way that will keep them coming back year after year after year. Sabani, you're up first. What's up?
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot, and CHEST Challenge is always a highlight of the meeting. Let's level it up. Let's do extreme chess challenge.
What makes it extreme?
Well, you know, those sim challenges that we have? I think we could take those up a few notches.
Howdy team, you're in the final stage of Chess Challenge. Your task, which you have to complete to win, is to decompress the tension pneumothorax in this patient with only the contents of this box. You have 30 seconds to complete that task. Does that sound good to you? Okay, the timer will start when you open the box. Good luck, team.
It was then that they realized that they were not going to win the chess challenge.
Anissa, what do you have?
So you're right. Chess is known for all kinds of competitions and games and ways to show off our skills. What if we moved into like a whole new space by places that we see all over the country in our hometowns?
Like where, Anissa?
So think competitions at a state fair.
Okay, is everyone ready? Go ahead and take off your blindfolds.
Wait, is that mayonnaise?
Hey, that's not just any mayonnaise, that's chest mayonnaise.
And we're supposed to eat that?
Yes, as fast as you can. All right, everyone ready? On your mark, get set. Steve, what are you doing?
I thought we started already.
All right, Anissa and Dave, we have to do something special with escape rooms this year.
Oh my God, for sure.
So I've been I'm an escape room guy. I love this. So we've done escape rooms for a number of years. They've been super successful. Lots of folks are going through them. We've done them in person. We've done them remotely. I'm thinking we have a way of leveling them up.
What are you thinking?
So if we design an escape room in an undisclosed location in the convention center, and people don't know about it until they wander into it.
So like an unannounced surprise escape room. But
Yes.
how will we test it? Who do we get to test it?
I have just the person.
Hello? Somebody?
I suspect you can envision why these proposals didn't quite make it. No, round of applause for our team, please. I have one last pitch before I conclude. We expected that our membership would experience great joy in reconvening for the first time in 3 years, but we felt we were lacking a physical embodiment of that joy, something around which the happiness being generated here could coalesce, I guess a mascot of sorts. So we held several focus groups to identify a few mascot possibilities. Then we used state-of-the-art internet-based artificial intelligence to sketch out what these mascots might look like. Today, for the first time, we're going to show you our 3 finalists. Without further ado, I give you Wheezy the Windpipe, Haley the non-branded non-CFC inhaler, and Sputy the mucus plug. Please use one of the hashtags shown on Twitter to advocate for your choice. The winning option is going to make its debut at Chess. Dr. Drizzo Harris doesn't know this yet, but at Chess 23 in Honolulu next October. I, for one, can't wait to see one of these creepy things running down the hall to give Chess members big hugs. Vote wisely, folks. I want to close by thanking the 3 families who've made this year an absolute pleasure. First is my friends and colleagues on the Chess Board of Regents. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an outstanding year, and I cannot envision a more thoughtful, engaged, talented group of individuals with whom to work. Captaining this crew has been an absolute delight, and I am incredibly appreciative for all of your time, talent, and support. Second, my friends and colleagues at Emory, many of whom are here with us this evening. I know that my time away from Atlanta has required a number of these already incredibly busy individuals to bear a bit more of the clinical weight, and I am so incredibly appreciative, thankful that their hard work and sacrifice has permitted me to serve in this important role for CHEST. I'll be home in just a few months full-time, folks. And finally, and most importantly, to my first family, Kim, Patrick, and William, thank you all so much for permitting me to go on this journey and for providing your love, support, and good humor. Thanks also to my dad, who granted me the genetic gifts of a somewhat passable communications skill set and a sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy. And to my mom, from wherever she may be watching. I hope I made you proud. Thank you. In closing, to those of you who in the audience, like me back at my first CHEST meeting in 2002, could never envision yourself in the big chair. If a guy who thinks it's funny to lock Bill Kelly in a bathroom stall, who proposes having an international meeting in a former president's basement, and stalks Neil Patrick Harris in the hopes he'll show up at our meeting can serve in this role, so can you. Show up at the meeting, step up when volunteers are sought, up your game when you get the call, and enjoy the ride. It's a heck of a ride. Enjoy the ride. Don't ever lose track of who you are. As 3 sage men once said, no one should take themselves so seriously. With many years ahead to fall in line, why would you wish that on me? I never want to act my age. Thank you all for allowing me the great pleasure of serving as your 2022 president. The year is not over yet, but it's been a wonderful experience thus far, and I hope you choose to read more about it in my upcoming biography. Why is he so sweaty? Available soon at booksellers everywhere. This is the hardest part. We now have reached that time when I transfer the symbols of the office of the presidency. Everyone, please join me in welcoming CHEST President-elect Dr. Dorina Drizzo-Harris to the stage.
Thank you,
Welcome,
David.
Doreen. Although her term does not officially start until January 1st, it is my distinct honor to formally welcome you as the 2023 CHEST President. Although many of you may know Dr. Drizzo-Harris's work in education, I wanted to take a moment to speak to her incredible skill set that may not be as obvious to this audience. Doreen is the rare individual who is able to do almost anything and does it incredibly well. In addition to being an outstanding and accomplished clinician who's internationally renowned in the area of bronchiectasis and non-tuberculous mycobacteria, she is a nationally recognized educator, multiple award winner, and a well-funded clinical investigator. She has served this organization as program chair and as president of the CHEST Foundation, among many other leadership positions. The only thing she might not be as good at is eating dumplings, as you can see by the empty plate in front of her on this picture that we took in China years ago, which, there they go, they're gonna show it for us. Look at that plate, empty, didn't want to put it in. Despite this, the only failing I can see, as a friend and a colleague, I cannot think of anyone else who is as dedicated and passionate to take on the mantle of leadership of this wonderful organization. It is my privilege to transfer this over to you as CHEST's next president. Congratulations, Dr. Drizzo. Let's get a picture. I'm sorry, I stepped away. A picture, indeed. I'll hold on to it.
Hello.
Sorry. Please join me. My fault. I missed my cue. That's wholly on me. Please join me one more time in welcoming and celebrating Dr. Dorina Drizzo-Harris as the 85th president of the American College of Chest Physicians.
That's okay. I was just going to wing it there since I didn't have any slides to read. But anyway, thank you, everyone,
for the warm welcome. It is truly an honor to stand here before you as the 6th woman president of the American College of Chest Physicians. These past few years have been an incredible test of strength for clinicians everywhere, but especially those in pulmonary and critical care. I've watched our last 3 presidents lead by great example. Dr. Stephanie Levine, Dr. Steve Simpson, and Dr. David Shulman have had to lead with innovation and nimbleness in a time where we were so isolated from each other and so tired from the long hours that we worked each day. They, along with the Board of Regents, the CEO, our phenomenal staff, were able to keep CHEST amazingly alive and vibrant and more connected than ever. They are truly inspiring. For 2023, I hope to take this incredible energy to the next level. There are so many things I would like to do in just the 1 year that I have as president. I'm going to highlight a few of those key areas. In the old days, before the pandemic, we used to consider how best to serve members throughout the evolution of their career. And yes, we're going to continue doing that. But now as we emerge from this public health emergency, we have to figure out how to meet the changing needs of our communities. I want CHEST to represent the field, our teams, and our patients' interests. I want CHEST to bring an expanding membership the same sense of support, joy, and challenge that it has brought to me. The second area is to strengthen our collaboration with our many sister societies here in the US and our international outreach. We have already started many of those discussions, and Dr. Shulman has focused the board on an international strategic plan. The third area is to enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all of those initiatives within the college. We will continue to strive to make diversity seamless and a part of everything we do. This also includes strengthening our Women in Pulmonary program and its presence within the college, as well as expanding some of the new programs you've heard about, such as the First 5 Minutes. As you know, I have a very strong passion for the work of the CHEST Foundation, and through my presidency, I will focus on how CHEST can support and integrate with the Foundation's goal of championing lung health. Whether it's through supporting our clinical research grants, expanding patient education and advocacy, or the programs like the First 5 Minutes and the Harold Amos Scholarship Program, we want to train our leaders for the future. In that same vein, I want to stress the power of mentorship within medicine and within CHEST. Many of you out there have taught me so much, and I thank you. And I wanted to highlight some of the mentors within CHEST that are extremely special to me. It was Dr. Mark Rosen who introduced me to CHEST and urged me to run for CHEST governor of New York City when I was quite junior. CHEST used to have a governor of every state, and New York also had one of New York City. And I had to run against someone quite senior, but I had Mark cheering in my corner, and I ended up being chosen. Mark left us, unfortunately, 3 years ago, and we miss him every day. But I know he is smiling down on us today. It was Dr. David Gutterman who chose me when I was a very junior faculty member to be vice chair of the back then guidelines committee called the Health and Science Policy Committee. He could have chosen someone more senior, but he wanted to give a junior faculty member a chance, which led to my being on the executive committee of the lung cancer guidelines. Gerard, what about that, huh? Pretty great opportunity for a junior faculty member. And David has been supporting me and sharing his wisdom ever since. Thank you, David. And there are 3 very important women in my life at Chest, and you can see them here. Dr. Ann O'Donnell invited me to give my first talk on TB to the Chest Infections Network. And it was funny, I didn't know this, but when we met at Chest, we found out we had both grown up on Staten Island and both went to the same high school, St. Joseph Hill Academy. We've been dear friends ever since. She's taught me so much about bronchiectasis and NTM, and also how to navigate my professional career. Thank you, Anne. And Dr. Stephanie Levine and Dr. Lisa Moores, both who don't need any introduction, and who know more about the workings of Chest than anyone, have shared their experience and wisdom with me along this incredible journey. They are admired and loved by so many. You too can find mentors like these here at Chest. Why else, though, is Chest so special to me? Well, Chest is my family, as you can tell, away from home and away from work. And if you know me, there's nothing more important than family. My family motto taught to me when I was growing up by my dad was one for all and all for one. And this motto holds true here at Chest. Chest was there for me in early March 2020, when COVID hit New York City like a tidal wave. I was in charge of staffing all the units, and I knew all too quickly that we wouldn't have enough intensivists as our ICUs grew from just 3 to more than 25 in our main 3 hospitals. It was a quick call very late one night, probably around 1 a.m., that I made to Chest CEO Bob Musacchio that helped materialize a monumental effort in bringing over 100 experienced physicians to NYU and New York City hospitals in really a matter of just a few days. With the help of a dear friend, Liz Emery, and Chest staff, especially Karen Kerher, who were willing to volunteer at a moment's notice, we used a centralized database to quickly send these physicians to many very needy hospitals in the New York metropolitan area. We couldn't have done it without them. Many of these physicians were Chest members themselves. They were fearless and unselfish, and they came to help us in our time of need. A great thank you goes out to all of them. I have been so lucky to have a supportive family with me along this journey. My dad, a pulmonary and critical care physician, taught me so much of how to be a caring and empathetic physician. We were honored to be inducted together, as you can see in this photo, as FCCP back in 1999. My husband, Lauren, a thoracic surgeon, an active Chest member, is truly the best partner anyone could ask for. He has supported me in everything over the last 35 years, since I met him when I was a third-year medical student and he was my intern on my team at Bellevue Hospital. And he might not remember, but 35 years exactly to the date, October 16th, 1987, was our first date. Yep. Happy anniversary, honey. My 2 wonderful children, Danielle, truly my right hand, my right arm, my right half of my body. She is always there for me, and I certainly couldn't have done half of what I do without her. She's my travel agent, my personal shopper, the person I call when I can't figure out how to work anything on my computer. She fixes it in a second. And my son, Jeffrey, my best buddy, who will call me late at night when he knows I'm traveling and he's worried, making sure that I got back to my hotel on time. I've also have to thank him for being my NFL fantasy coach and my best partner when it comes to rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles. All of my family is active in Chest. My mother, Amy, and my uncle, Dr. Jerry Maida, support the Chest Foundation's John R. Adrizzo Research Grant in sarcoidosis, and my sisters, Renee, Michelle, and brother John, have all been very involved with chest events, especially the New York City Belmont event. My family, of course, extends to my work family at NYU and Bellevue, and here you can see us, a part of us. We're a very, very big division outside of Bellevue Hospital, the old Bellevue Hospital gates. What is so wonderful is that so many of the fellows that I have trained over the last 22 years and my faculty are active in chest today, and they're here in Nashville. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you, too, to my division chief, Dr. Dan Sturman, for supporting everything I do for chest in the foundation, and for all of those who back home are helping to cover for me. Chest can be an extension of your family, too. To close out my last few minutes, I'll leave you all with a bit of homework. I ask that each and every one of you get involved. If you already are, thank you. If you're still trying to find out the best place for you within chest and you aren't sure where to start, please just reach out. All of the chest leaders are very accessible, and we can connect you with the right people to get you engaged. I'm truly looking forward to serving you and the association over the next year. As a bonus, we get to go to Hawaii in 2023, where I was program chair, you can see here, with Dr. Kevin Chan and Dr. David Gutterman in 2011. Very excited to be going back there 12 years later. Please enjoy the meeting here at Nashville, and thank you for your attention today. I'm humbled to be your president for 2023. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage, Chest President, Dr. David Shulman.
Before I proceed, I really can't wait to see how chest evolves under Doreen's leadership in 2023. Also, one more comment. I did note that the voting for the mascot has opened, and disgustingly, Sputy seems to be in the lead. I'm not sure what that's about, but you all should be a little ashamed. But the voting will remain open, so if you want Sputy, you'll get it. Just make sure you vote for it. We've been through a lot over the last few years, and one thing that's been in the forefront of my mind is the effort to recapture joy. How to find the little things in life that keep us going, to find the wins in each and every day. And they've been hard to come by over the last couple of years. With that, I would like to introduce this year's speaker, Neil Pasricha. I had the pleasure of meeting with him a few weeks ago and again earlier today, and you are in for a heck of a treat. We had an extraordinary conversation filled with smiles and laughter, and I expect that many of you will experience those same expressions during his presentation. Neil is a New York Times best-selling author of 7 books, including You Are Awesome, The Happiness Equation, and The Book of Awesome. After receiving his MBA from Harvard, Neil spent a decade as director of leadership inside Walmart, the world's largest company. He is one of the most popular TED speakers of all time, and his work has been featured by CNN, BBC, and the Oprah Winfrey Network. To help welcome Neil Pasricha to the stage, here's a short video. It's not mine, it's his. Enjoy.
One of the most popular TED speakers of all time.
The author of The Book of Awesome.
More than 1 million copies worldwide.
Best-selling author of The Happiness Equation.
There's a book that will change how you think about everything.
Neil has spoken to hundreds and thousands of people all over the world.
With a Harvard MBA, he spent a decade as director of leadership inside Walmart.
And his work has been seen everywhere from CNN to BBC. The list goes on and on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Pasricha.
Hello! Yes! Good afternoon, everybody!
You have been sitting for a little bit of time, so if you feel like getting up and having a stretch, having a breath, filling your chest with air, feel free. Doesn't bother me at all. Anyone that wants to stand up, get a stretch, go ahead, get a stretch, get some air. I checked into the Omni Hotel. I was like, you guys took over the place. Signs everywhere, drug company ads everywhere. I bumped into Abdul from Ohio in the elevator. On the way up to my room, I said, he looked at me, he's like, you're the guy that spreads happiness. I said, yeah, that's me. He's like, and you do so at a pretty penny, don't you? It's like, oh, I like this crowd. Cynical, healthy discernment. That's good. It's good. I walk across the street to the music center. I bump into a Jay from Chicago. He's like, oh, I read one of your books. I'm looking forward to hearing you speak. I said, that filled me back up. I bump into Gauthier at the back from Montreal, a fellow countryman from Canada. And everyone here was like, oh, we're all excited to talk about happiness. And I'm excited to talk about the art of happiness too. And I'll tell you why. Because if you go to Google right now and you type in how to be, guess what the first drop down is? Anyone? You're right, it's happy. By the way, numbers 2, 3, and 4 are rich, pretty, and real estate agent. This is what we want in life, okay? Happiness is number 1. But are we? According to Professor David Myers at the University of Michigan, the answer is absolutely not. In fact, he argues that since the 1950s, despite a tripling of our income, and increasing in our longevity and our education rates, our happiness has stayed fundamentally flat. And in fact, you know this, when you zoom in on the data, things like anxiety are at an all-time high, depression's at an all-time high, loneliness is at an all-time high, even suicide's at an all-time high. So why is this? Who has an answers for me? We want happiness more than anything else. It doesn't seem like we got it yet. Why? Why? And this is where I like to incentivize people to participate. So I grab a stack of books and I walk around like the Pied Piper here. Who's got answers for me? Why are we not happy? Yell it out. There's no wrong answers. Anybody? We got fear of missing out. What's your name? Brooke. Thank you very much, Brooke. I heard COVID over here. I don't know who it was. I'll just throw a book. Hopefully it'll get to somebody. It's a paperback. Don't worry. Yeah, what's up? What's wrong with us? Why aren't we happy? What do you think? Because too much homework. We're not reading enough. Here you go. We got too much information. Social media. Here you go. Social media. We got too much homework. We got COVID. We got fear of missing out. We got social media. There's all kinds of problems in society. And on top of all that, we got this model that we've been taught since we were kids. That's totally backwards. If you do great work, then you have a big success, and then you be happy. Didn't your parents say this to you? Come on, if you study really hard, then you'll get straight A's, and if you're Indian, you become a doctor. I failed at that. Some of you succeeded. It's great. Or if you work really hard, then you get promoted, and then you're happy. And I can tell you, after reviewing over 300 studies in the science of happiness, this model is fundamentally reversed. We need to start thinking about happiness like a habit, like a practice, like something we can invest in ourselves. Everyone goes to the gym to work out their body. How many people are investing in their happiness? According to Sonia Lubomirsky at Stanford University, if you show up to work happy, you're 31% more productive. For those in sales jobs, they're 37% higher sales. For those in creativity-based work, they're 300% more creative. And then the big success comes. What kind of success? Happy people are 40% more likely to get a promotion over the next 12 months. And happy people live longer. Live longer. University of Kentucky. Anyone from Kentucky here? Go Wildcats, couple in the front row. University of Kentucky researchers did the famous nun study. They looked at nuns are perfect lab rats, right? Same gender, same religion, same clothes, none of them smoke or drink or have sex ever. All right? At the last speech I was at, somebody in the back yelled out, "Not the nuns I know." The point is, they looked at all these nuns who joined every U.S. convent in the 1930s and 40s, right? If they used any of the 3 key phrases, looking forward, eager joy, or blessed life, they put them in a category called happy nuns. 25% of the nuns used one of those 3 phrases. When they came and checked up on them, and 60, 70 years later, the ones that were happier in the convent lived an average of 10 years longer. Average lifespan in this country today is 30,000 days. 30,000 days. But if you can work on a practice, an art called happiness, some of the research says you get up to 3,000, maybe 4,000 more. More sunsets, bowls of ice cream, and kissing your kids goodnight. So it's a conversation worth having, right? Before we head off to the saloon, it's a conversation we should have. I'll tell you how I got into this conversation. For me, it started 50 years ago. My mom and my dad first came to Canada from Amritsar, India, that's my dad, and from Nairobi, Kenya, my mom. And they settled in a shady suburb outside of Toronto, Canada, called Oshawa, Ontario, if anyone here is Canadian or knows that suburb of Toronto. When my parents got to North America, everything was new to them. They went skiing for the first time, saw a dentist for the first time, had kids for the first time. There we are. Thank you. My sister and I were born here. We grew up taking the whole thing for granted. My dad would look us in the eyes and he would look at us and he would say, never forget how lucky you are. Never forget how good you have it. You got power on in your house. You got a school across the street. You got a hospital down the road, you know? But we were kids. What do kids do? They ignore their parents. We're like, get out of the way of the Nintendo, you know? We got stuff to do, right? You don't hear your parents' advice till you get older. So we moved on. We grew up. We grew older. Graduated school. I went to university. I graduated. I met a girl. I settled down. I got married in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada's wine region. And the year after that, I went on a 10,000-mile road trip with my best friend, Chris. We actually drove down the eastern seaboard, came on through Nashville, across the south, had a lot of biscuits and gravy and hush puppies, and went up the Pacific Coast Highway where this picture was taken. This is up the PCH where we saw seals out of our car window. But then we jumped out of our car and blocked them with our gigantic heads. So you can't actually see them, but they were breathtaking, I assure you. I come home after that. It seems to me like life is going according to plan. I'm in my late 20s now. I'm married. I've met this woman. I fell in love with her. We've been together 4 years. We bought a house. We're talking about having kids. And this is exactly when in my life the whole thing fell apart. I got home from work one night to find my wife on the front porch of our house with her hands over her face and tears streaming down her cheeks. And I thought there was an accident. I thought something happened. I jump out of the car. I run up to the front door, and I'm like, honey, what's wrong? What's the matter? And she says, Neil, I'm so sorry to ask you this, but I'd like to get a divorce. I met somebody new. I've fallen in love with them. And I don't think we can stay together. I was in shock. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't process this. 3 days later, something worse happened. My best friend, Chris, who I just showed you that picture of, was one of the 43% of us today who, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, suffers from depression. Chris had good days and bad days. I talked to him on the phone that Sunday night, but by Monday, my best friend, Chris, was gone. And I got a phone call from his sister at my work to tell me that my best friend Chris had very suddenly taken his own life. And for all the intense and serious and wonderful conversations we are having this week at Chest, one of them we need to make sure that we weave in there is the conversation about suicide. Over the past 2 years, suicide has grown to the #2 cause of death in this country for people under age 29 after car accidents. Okay, over the past 2 years, attempted suicide check-ins were up across every single age group in the United States, including 7-year-old girls. I was a wreck, I was a mess, I was a disaster. A lot of the things you guys yelled out, news media, social media, this is what I was hitting me at the time. I was doom scrolling, I was addicted to this stuff. I couldn't get off the internet at night. And then one day I decided when I got home from work to change the channel in my brain somehow. When I go to Google, I type in how to start a blog, I click I'm feeling lucky. You know, the button no one ever clicks. And 10 minutes later, I start up this website called 1000awesomethings.com, just as a way to try to put a smile on my face before I went to bed. I come home and I start writing about old, dangerous playground equipment. Anyone remember hot slides and falling into cigarette butts and kids with casts? You know, where's all the casts gone, right? Or how about getting called up to the dinner buffet first at a wedding? You've been to an Indian wedding. You know what I'm talking about. There's 97 tables. You're never getting paneer. You know what I mean? Just peas left over, right? Wearing warm underwear from out of the dryer. Just little things to cheer me up. Now, no one read this site except for my mom, all right? Although one day she sent it to my dad and my traffic doubled. It was amazing. And then one day I got tens of hits. And then one day I got hundreds. And then thousands. And then millions. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I got a phone call, and the voice at the other end of the line said, "You just won the Best Blog in the World award." And I was like, that sounds totally fake. What tiny country do you want me to wire all my money to, right? But it turns out it was real. It was the International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences. They flew me down to New York City. They paraded me down a red carpet wedged between Martha Stewart and Sarah Silverman. And I go on stage and I accept a Webby Award for Best Blog in the World. And the shock and the surprise of that is overshadowed by when I get home to Toronto and 10 literary agents are waiting to turn my website, 1000awesomethings.com, into a book called The Book of Awesome. Now, there's no need to buy this book. It's literally just my blog stapled together. I mean, we just printed the thing out, we stapled it, we sold it. They printed 5,000 copies. They didn't think, no one thought this thing was going to sell very well, right? Least of all me. Turns out it did well, okay? It became a big bestseller, and it started for me a 10-year journey, research odyssey, a quest to try to understand what actually makes us happy. Right? As I was going through these struggles, as I was going through all this stuff, I asked my parents, what do I do? Everyone's asking me how to be happy. I get invited on the Today Show. Meredith Vieira asked me in front of 45 million Americans, "So, Neil, how do you teach all of America to be happy like you?" And I bombed the question. I was like, I don't know, I'm divorced. I'm depressed. I lost 40 pounds to stress. I'm living in a tiny shoebox and down. I can't help you, lady. They fly me home. I never get invited back. That's a true story, all right? I asked my parents what to do. I asked my mom and my dad, Indian immigrants to Canada, right? They say, "Neil, beta G, do more homework. Come on, get to the library, figure it out." They ask you a question, you don't know the answer, research it, figure it out. So I go to the library, try to research happiness. I discover 3 things. Number 1, 2,400 years ago in ancient Greece, in Athens, the conversation about happiness began at the world's first university called Plato's Republic. The guy in the back left in the blue is Plato. The guy in the back right in pink is his star pupil, Aristotle. What does Aristotle say? Happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. This is the first known place and time ever in our species history where we kind of codified that this is important. This is what we're really playing for. The most famous philosopher of all time declares it to be so, 340 BC. What happens to the conversation after that? Well, stutter stops for a couple thousand years, but then it keeps going. Over in Philadelphia in 1776, largest city in the U.S. at the time, right? 40,000 people lived there. It was the biggest city in the country. And inside this building right here in the front, Thomas Jefferson and a group of people signed a paper, Declaration of Independence. You know what they put in there? Everybody gets life, liberty, and the pursuit of... That's right. But you notice the legalese they snuck in there, right? Life and liberty, you get those for sure. Happiness, you get to chase it. You get the pursuit. You don't get it. You get to chase it. That's what they promised us, right? So we know it's important, and we kind of put it on a piece of paper. We say you get to chase it. Where's the conversation go? It freezes for another few hundred years. And then it continues in the year 2000. Same city, 2 miles away. There's the same building, 2 miles away at the University of Pennsylvania. At the top of this building, 2 guys. One guy says, "What do you think about actually studying this happiness thing?" Mihaly? And Mihaly replies, "I was just about to say that, Martin." Mihaly is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who did all the foundational work on flow. Right? He wrote the book called Flow. If you heard the word flow, this all came from him. He is a co-founder with Martin Seligman of positive psychology. Martin Seligman, for his part, is not a shrinking violet. He did all the foundational work on flourishing. And he wrote a book called Authentic Happiness. These 2 guys co-invented positive psychology. You've heard the phrase, you know the phrase, it's all over our culture now. It did not exist 22 years ago. This phrase is brand new as of the year 2000. So, okay, those are 3 big points in happiness history. What about now? What about today? What about here? The Radio City Center in 2022, we're going to further the conversation a little bit more by asking, well, what if you only got a couple minutes a day? I mentioned the average lifespan in this country is 30,000 days, right? That works out to 1,000 months. Average person's alive in this country for 1,000 months. Interestingly, average person is awake each day for 1,000 minutes. 1,000 keeps appearing over and over again. The average person's awake today for 1,000 minutes, 1,000 minutes a day. So my argument is, if you could just take 2 of them to make the other 998 happier, would you do it? I'm going to give you a 2-minute morning practice you can do every day when you wake up, and a 2-minute evening practice you can do every day at night. They're very simple things. I'm going to give them to you today. You don't got to do both. You just got to pick one, okay? The goal's not to be perfect with this stuff. No one's perfectly happy. I'm not. No one is. The goal is just to be a little better than before. So let me give you those 2 practices. Start in the morning. Put your hand up if you woke up today at the Omni or wherever you woke up this morning and you were within 5 feet of your cell phone. Put your hand in the air if you woke up this morning within 5. I want to say 95% of people have their hand up right now, which is about the national average today. And when you ask people what they did before bed every night, they say, I'll check my cell phone. What if my boss emails me? And what if I got to set my fantasy football lineup? What if someone commented on my Instagram post? What if my sister texted me? Whatever, right? And what do you do when you wake up in the morning? Oh, well, what if my boss emailed me? What if I got to check the Hang Sang Index? I got to see if anyone texted me. Everyone's checking their phone. Last thing, first thing, and sleeping beside it. Don't we think this is a problem? If you drank a bottle of wine before bed every night, slept within 5 feet of a bottle of wine, and drank a bottle of wine when you woke up every morning, what would we call you? Who said happy? We got no judgment. Well, you're probably an alcoholic. We're phoneaholics now, and we don't even notice it. What's the problem with cell phones? Let me ask Will Ferrell to demonstrate.
Like. Guys, honestly, 5 more minutes. Like.
Oh, it's so nice to all be sitting down together. Who can tell me something they did today?
I drew a horsey.
Good for you, Sam. Anyone have a charger? I'm at like 2%.
I'm not hungry.
What's wrong, sweetheart?
I miss Daddy.
I know. We all miss him.
I miss him more.
No, I miss him the most.
I miss him a lot.
No,
I
miss him so much more.
Hey, everyone shut up. This filter makes me look like a cat. It's so funny, it's making me cry.
Our cell phones are getting in the way of our happiness. 3 problems with cell phones. They all start with the letter P. First one, psychological. We're comparing our director's cut life with everybody else's greatest hits, right? No matter how good the food is at the saloon tonight and how good the conversations is, if you go on Instagram before you go to bed, someone's at a lobster buffet in the Maldives right now, and suddenly your dinner sucks, right? You're always a loser on the internet. You never have enough likes, enough followers, enough friends. No one has enough. Psychologically, we're always inferior online. Productivity. McKinsey is now reporting we're spending 31% of our time on our phones just bookmarking, prioritizing, and switching between tasks. How many times do you pick up your phone and 20 minutes later you don't remember why? Right? You put it down and then you remember the reason to pick it up in the first place. We all have this experience. Lastly, physical. New research is coming out of Australia showing that if you look at a bright screen within 2 hours of bedtime, your brain does not produce as much melatonin overnight. You know this? The pineal gland in the back of your brain doesn't produce as much melatonin. You don't get as deep a restful sleep. In fact, evolutionary biologists are now suggesting that after you turn on your phone, you get an energy increase. Right before you go to bed, your brain wants to build a fire and set up the cave, right? After the sun goes down. So what do we need to do? I'm saying get the phone out of the bedroom. If you sleep in the Omni, do what I did. Put the phone in the bathroom. Just get it a few feet from you. If you're at home, put it in your furnace room, your garage. Create a 20-second separation from your phone. And everyone who's thinking, it's my alarm clock, I'm telling you, have you heard of Walmart? They sell alarm clocks for $5 there. Just buy an alarm clock. And instead, when you wake up in the morning, I want you to do the 2-minute morning practice. You grab a pen, you grab a piece of paper, you write down 3 things. Number 1, I will let go of. Number 2, I am grateful for. And number 3, I will focus on. Let's take them one by one. I will let go of. Catholics in the room, you might relate to this. Catholic confession chamber, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. You know, it's not just Catholicism. Buddhism, Mormonism, Judaism, Islam, almost all world religions have a form of confession built into the religious practice. But according to National Geographic, January issue of this year, the fastest growing religion in this country is actually none. None. In fact, the United States this year is tipping over into a secular majority, joining countries like Canada, France, the Netherlands, and New Zealand. So let's look at the science as well. Science magazine published a report called Don't Look Back in Anger. Dr. Brasson and her colleagues show that if you can crystallize and inject an anxiety, you live your day and indeed your life with less regrets and more contentment. You start your day by writing down what is making you anxious, what's making you overwhelmed. I'll let go of the 5 pounds I gained at the conference, right? I will let go of mom guilt or dad guilt for being away from my kids for a few days. I will let go of the fact that the dishes are never done in my kitchen sink, right? I'll let go of the heaviness and the weight I feel about some of what's happened over the last couple of years. I will let go of the fact that I didn't get to say goodbye to a sister or a parent that's no longer here. As you start to process these things, writing them down actually extricates them for your day. And then you clean the slate with the next one. I am grateful for. Professors Emmons and McCullough have 3 groups of people at the end of 10 weeks write down either gratitudes, 10 gratitudes, hassles, 10 hassles, or events, 10 events. After a 10-week period, the ones who wrote down gratitudes were not just happier, like you'd expect, but they were also physically healthier, right? This is a bicep curl. Writing down gratitudes is a brain curl. But the research says it's got to be specific. It's got to be specific. Don't write down my husband, my kid, and my dog. That's not going to trigger your visual cortex. That's the part of your brain, your area 17 in your visual cortex. It's what remembers these things. Don't write down my husband. Say, when my husband Antonio put the toilet seat down. Don't say my kid. Say, when my 5-year-old daughter Sonia learned how to draw the letter S. Don't say my dog. Say, when the rescue puppy we got during the pandemic stopped peeing on the pillows. Be specific. Choose some tiny little thing that happened over the last 24 hours. Finally, you end your 2-minute practice with I will focus on. Roy Baumeister at the University of Florida has argued that we all today suffer from decision fatigue. You know this? Am I going to go to the conference? Where am I going to stay? What time am I going to get there? Where am I going to sit? What am I going to wear? Where am I going to go out? Everyone's making decisions all the time. I will focus on helps you carve one will do from your endless could do and should do. Make it the most annoying thing on their list. Who else has been meaning to book a dentist appointment since May, right? Or clean up the home office, or get the oil change in the car, the light's been on for 6 months. Whatever that is, write it down. This is a 2-minute investment to help you win the morning and win your day. All 3 points are backed by research, and this helps make the other 998 minutes 31% more productive, 37% higher in sales, and 300% more creative. A little tiny morning practice. And if you're like, nah, I don't want to do that one. What do you got at night? You said you had 2 choices. The nighttime one, honestly, it may actually be even easier. First thing you got to do, though, of course, before you get to the nighttime is a couple hours before bed, you got to lock up your phone. It's very hard to do. Almost nobody can do this. This is a real product, by the way. It's called Phone Cell. I put the website for you if you want to buy one. It's $100, right? You put your phone in here, you set the timer. This guy set it to 23 hours, 59 minutes, way too long. But you set it to 6 hours, say. You try it out for 6 hours. You can't get your phone. It doesn't open for 6 hours. You got to smash the glass to get your phone, then you're out $100. Everyone's talking about intermittent fasting with their food. We should be talking about intermittent fasting with our phones. We got to take breaks from our phones. When you shut this thing off 2 hours before bed, then it gives you the space to do a 2 pages of fiction practice. Reading 2 pages of fiction, not my stuff, nonfiction, fiction stories, right? From a real book. The American Time Use Survey has been studying what % of Americans read. Last year, the number of Americans who read 0 books is at an all-time high. The number is now 57%. 57% of Americans read 0 books last year, which is a bit more troubling when you know the research from the Annual Review of Psychology, where they showed that reading fiction opens up the mirror neurons in our brains responsible for empathy, compassion, and understanding. My job at Walmart for the 10 years I was there was Director of Leadership Development. My job inside a 2.5 million person company was to grow managers to directors, directors to VPs, VPs to SVPs. You know what the #1 derailer was for all leaders at all levels across the world's biggest company? Every single time when someone was on the fast track and didn't get promoted, every single time it was because of EQ. Empathy, compassion, understanding. Tony, you're awesome at your job. Tony, no one likes you in the meeting. Tony's not getting promoted. And you can't ship Tony off to empathy class. It doesn't exist. But we learn from the research that actually reading books makes us feel like we're another gender, another religion, another time of the world, another place in the world. Our reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives only one. And yes, I stole that quote from Game of Thrones. A book of fiction, right? Of course, when I tell people to read, they always got 2 big excuses. You know the first one. What's the first excuse about reading? I got no. Everyone says the same thing. I got no time. I got no time. And now I can confidently say that's BS, because I found a new research report from the University of California, and they show that we read more words per day today than we've ever read before in human history. The average person is reading the equivalent of a 200-page book a day, each day, every day. It's called Instagram comments, blog rolls, news feed, Twitter headlines, plus the average person gets 147 emails a day. And that's the average person. My mom gets 6. You might get 300. I'm not saying add 2 pages to your pile. I'm saying subtract 2 pages of garbage from your pile and insert 2 pages of fiction from a real book. I love this audience. That's the first time I've ever said that got an applause. Thank you for that. I'm a book lover. You're a book lover. This is a wonderful city for book lovers. Parnassus Books in the city, owned by Ann Patchett. You know, try to visit a local independent bookstore. You know, get a book. And if you can't find a book, by the way, people always say, I bought one, whatever's in a pile at the airport. I didn't like it. I figure I don't like books. I don't like reading. It's not you. It's the book industry. They're putting out 1 million books in English every year. It's too many. There's 200 million for sale on Amazon. We got to sort. We got to filter. We got to curate. I have started a nonprofit project. I'm spending 15 years of my life doing a podcast called 3 Books, where I fly around the world and I ask people which 3 books most shaped your life. I'm asking big famous people. There's Judy Blume in the top right. She's 82. That's at her bookstore in Key West, Florida. There's Malcolm Gladwell in the bottom left. But I'm also asking everyday people I meet on the street. There's Vishwas Agrawal at the top left, my Uber driver, and So Young Kim, the grocer at the corner of my street downtown Toronto. I ask them, which 3 books most changed your life? I buy the books, I read the books, we talk about the books, and this is how you actually discover stuff that's away from that crazy Amazon algorithm that just wants to sell you stuff that other people bought or paid for, and actually find great, great, great books. I read The Wizard of Oz, Siddhartha by Herman Hesse, a wonderful book if you haven't read The Blind Side, Michael Lewis, right? Adding 2 pages of fiction from a real book. That's it. Super simple. A morning practice, an evening practice, pick one, you're done. Happy bingo. And you know what the cool thing is about being on stage, of course, is because I'm also getting to see all of you the whole time I'm talking. I can see that half the room right now is what I would call a head nodder. You're nodding with me. You're agreeing with me. You're like, I know this stuff. I like this stuff. This guy's I got to get back into this stuff. It's a good refresher. Thank you. And then there's the other half of people like Abdul. Where are you, Abdul? I love you, buddy. I would call them head tilters. They're too polite to shake their head at me, but they're thinking, seriously? Come on, guys. Come on, chest. You flew this guy all the way down from Toronto to tell me to read a book. 10 years of research. That's what he came up with. Read a book. Thanks, Einstein. Or you're thinking 2 minutes a day. I don't got time for that. Does this guy not know what I do? I don't want people to add stuff to my life. I want people to subtract stuff from my life. Or they're thinking, and this is the most insidious one of all, they're thinking, you know what? If it was this easy, don't you think everyone would be doing it already? Wouldn't we all just be doing this stuff and already be happy? I'm a smart, successful person. If it was this simple, don't you think we'd be doing it? Now, what would be the one-word summary to describe all those rational hesitations I just yelled out? What is that? Fear. Who yelled out fear right away? Where are you? Somebody in the front, couple of hands over here. Why fear? Why did you yell fear? Any reason why? Afraid of change, afraid of trying something new. Yeah, I can relate. You try something new, you suck at it, now you suck at something else. How many people have a journal with one page filled out? You know? It started off a good idea, and now you just got a blank page with a cat on the front of it. You paid 20 bucks from Barnes & Noble. Makes no sense. We all got fear. We all got fear. We don't talk about fear enough. You know what I've been afraid of my whole life? Water. I had ear infections my whole childhood. I had tubes in my ears my whole childhood. I never actually learned to swim. I never learned to swim. No rivers in Toronto to cross. I stay away from the pool at the pool parties. Why? Well, this is how you learn anything, right? HR people in the room might know this model. We call it can do, leads to want to do, leads to do. In HR speak, can do is capability. Want to do is motivation, and do is action. Capability leads to motivation, leads to action. Can I swim? No. So do I want to swim? No. So do I do it? Do I swim? No. It's not just Neil with swimming, isn't it you? With everything, you want to run a marathon, you think, I need the perfect running shoes, I got to get a good playlist, I need a running buddy to wake me up. Then I'll be motivated, and then I'll run a marathon. Or you're thinking, I want to write that novel, but first I need a perfect moleskin notebook. Then I need a coffee shop with good lighting, and then I just need a good idea, and then I'll be motivated, and then I'll do it. At this time in my life, I told you I'd moved downtown Toronto. I told you I rented a tiny shoebox apartment, 500 square foot apartment in one of the big high rises downtown Toronto for those that have been there. It takes me a year after my divorce till I finally work up the courage to online date, okay? And it takes me another year, 2 years. It takes me another year after my divorce till I finally meet someone who wants to go on a second date, okay? That's not a really proud admission. Not everyone likes this energy. This is the real me, okay? It's like, a lot of people ghosted me is what I'm trying to tell you. 2 years after my divorce, I finally got my first ever second date. It's with a woman named Leslie. She's a teacher at the Toronto District School Board. We're going out for dinner now. It's more of a commitment than just a drink, right? We're sitting across the table. We're having a great time. We're drinking a glass of wine. She looks me in the eyes and she says, so Neil, you like swimming? That's funny to you. I'm like, not really. I didn't want to tell her I can't swim. And she says, no, swimming is my favorite thing to do in the whole world. My family has a lake house. For generations we've had it. It's a couple hours up north on an island. On an actual island. And then she's like, oh, don't worry, you know, the 20 of us, my 80-year-old grandparents, my 5-year-old cousins, every single morning in the summer, we jump in the lake and we swim around the island. But don't worry, it's fine. I guess you can't come. Well, that night, instead of doing what I usually do, discuss, debate, pros and cons, analysis, paralysis, Excel spreadsheets, you know, I just did it. I signed up for an adult learn to swim class at the downtown City of Toronto pool. It was $40 for 8 weeks, and I went online. Buy. That Tuesday night, 7:30, I'm out on that pool deck. I got my life jacket zipped up. I got my goggles on, and I walk out on that pool deck, and guess who's waiting for me? No, Leslie's not there. It's 10 other people who suck at swimming, okay? They're from landlocked countries. They're traumatic childhood experiences. We all suck. There's group trust and solidarity. The lifeguard comes up. Thanks so much for coming. You got your life jacket on. You got your goggles on. Here, I'll give you a flutter board. Why don't you get in the shallow end? It's only up to your waist. So I get in the shallow end of the pool, I got my life jacket, I got my goggles, I'm holding this irrelevant flutterboard basically, just walking around. That's all she said to do. I'm just walking around the pool, and then all of a sudden there's a whistle. Thanks so much for coming. It's been half an hour. I'll see you next week. That was fast. I mean, I get out of the pool, I dry off my shins. I got home. Next Tuesday night, 7:30, same thing. Got the life jacket zipped up, got the goggles on, walk out on the pool deck. She's like, same as last week. Keep your life jacket, keep your goggles. In fact, I'll give you the flutterboard. This time, if you feel comfortable, you can just go a little deeper. So we go a little deeper, still walking around with the flutterboard, and all of a sudden, thanks so much for coming. It's been half an hour. I'll see you next week. I'm like, there's only 8 classes. Right? I've done 2 of them. But that night, it was weird what happened in my brain. I started walking home from that pool thinking, you know what, I can do that. That was easy. I can do that. I can do that. I can do it. And you know what? That 3rd week, I wanted to do it. I'm telling people I'm doing it. I switched my shower routine out to the evening. I'm like, I can do the first 2. It's easy. Well, guess what happened that 3rd week, the 4th week, the 5th week? A little deeper, lose the life jacket, lose the flutterboard. At the end of the 8 weeks, I could do the front crawl. I'm telling you guys, that summer, I swam around the island. Thank you. I was swimming in that amazing pool across the windows right now just a couple hours ago. This has worked into my life. Why? Because it turns out there's another model in our life that's totally backwards. We grow up thinking that motivation leads to action, but it turns out action leads to motivation. That's how you combat fear. That's how you combat all that rational hesitation. That's how you combat the part of your brain that thinks, I don't want to do this, it's too easy, it's too simple, it's oversimplified. It's just fear talking. Let me say it one more way. It is easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking rather than think yourself into a new way of acting. We're all great thinkers in this room. Sometimes thinking gets in the way. It's easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking rather than try and think yourself into a new way of acting. It is easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking rather than think yourself into a new way of acting. You guys have a wonderful set of sessions coming up, starting tonight with the big party, but also all the rest of the days of the conference. The message I want to leave you with as you go out of this room and you head off to the rest of the conference, remember the model for happiness is backwards. It's not great work, big success, be happy. It's reversed. We got to start thinking about happiness like a practice, like something we can invest in, and the great work and the big success follow. How do we do it? Couple ideas for you. Start the morning with your phone far away. Write down, I will let go of, I am grateful for, I will focus on. That's a 2-minute morning practice to prime your brain for positivity for the day. If it's too hard, if you can't do it, close your day by reading a couple pages of fiction before bed. Leave the phone off at least an hour before you go to sleep. Lock it up if you have to, but look at something that's not bright and glaring in your brain. And if you can't do it, or if you don't want to start, that's fear talking. It's easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking rather than think yourself into a new way of acting. It has been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to join all of you today. I wish you the best for the rest of the conference. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a wonderful conference. Thank you, everybody.
Please welcome back to the stage, Chest President, Dr. David Shulman.
Chess 2022, please join me one more time in thanking Mr. Neil Pasricha for an entertaining and inspirational presentation. And he's already stepped away, but Neil, I do want you to know that we will be providing you with a 1-year supply of Chest mayonnaise in the hopes that you'll remember this experience fondly. As our opening session draws to a close,
Hello, Shulman. Hello, Chess 2022 Nashville. This is Dr. Didactic, hacking into your opening session. It is so lovely that you're learning about the joy of happiness. Let me tell you what makes me happy. Lecture-based education. So I, Dr. Didactic, will be hacking into chest and erasing all evidence of your innovative education. Goodbye case-based learning. Goodbye hands-on simulation. Goodbye educational escape rooms. Is there a pulmonologist in the house?
Folks, do not be alarmed. We've known about Dr. Didactic's presence for some time. He's been following us on Twitter. He's been tweeting against us, but we hadn't imagined he'd penetrated our computer systems. We are now in need of your help to prevent him from destroying all of the education that we here at Chest have crafted. Please go online to stopdrdidactic.com to help us foil him. Because he thinks he's so clever, he's given us hints to code words that we need to stop him. You can follow him on Twitter for these hints. As an incentive for you to help us stop him, one randomly selected member who foils him will receive a grand prize of free registration to the next 5 Chest meetings. We're also going to offer 5 runner-up prizes to free reg for Chest 2023. But please do not dawdle. We've got to foil his mission before the meeting ends this Wednesday. I wish you all good luck, good hunting, and most importantly, please enjoy the rest of Chest 2022.